Us,
Oh,
everyone. Good to see everyone. Let's get it. Let's put it out there. Merry Christmas. Let's just put it out there, Shihan.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Put it
yeah.
out
Get
there.
it out there.
Merry
The
Christmas.
drinking starts today.
Let's do the right thing. The joyous is here. We're all up and about. Thanks, everyone. Hope everyone's well. Welcome to the Kyokushin Shuffle, the Japan Chronicles, and Ushian Sean. Hope you're
Oh,
well.
Sensei.
Yeah, I hear it's getting cold there, though, huh? Nice and cold.
Yeah, yeah. Nice crisp 9 degrees today, and it's going to be
Ooh.
6 tomorrow, and something ridiculous the day after. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. See,
winter's finally arrived.
yeah, well, summer hasn't arrived here in Melbourne slash the Surf Coast. We're still in our early 20s and it's windy and it's a bit, what do we do with
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
We whinge a lot here anyway. It's cold, it's hot, it's windy, it's everything around here. But
Well, it's two extremes there, isn't it? I
yeah,
mean, like Victoria and especially Melbourne, and even in summer, one day you could have 20, next day
yep,
you have 40. It's like, what
yep.
the hell's going on there?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. But for everyone out there that listens to us, it's school finishes here, and we finish work, and Sean and I reached out and just wanted to do a little last hurrah to end the year off and give a bit of a debrief of the year that we've kind of had wanted and would have loved to have had, and all the above. But
Mm.
we started the Japan Chronicles as we said a while ago. The plan was to try and give everyone a bit of a insight into someone on the ground in Japan, and none other than Xian Sean, who's lived there nearly his whole life, half his life, and with that, we got some really cool insights. Good conversation started off, didn't it, Xian? And
Oh,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
momentum was building with us, and in regards to we weren't sure, and as we respect everyone that listens to us, we do our absolute best. We're trying to run families, run businesses, run dojos, run the whole freaking works.
World.
But
Yeah.
we wanted to share also what we may have for 2024, and we'll keep trying and we'll keep delivering and keep having
Yep.
a good chat to everyone and giving everyone insights for what's ahead. So exciting just to have a chat to Shian here and finish off the year with everyone. But Shian, how are you going? And
Yeah, good.
mm,
Yeah, I mean it's a crazy season, isn't it? And I think first of all, I'd just like to thank everyone that has supported
mm,
the stuff we put out.
yep,
Comments have always been positive and great.
yep,
That interaction there's been really good and inspiring. Yeah, I mean, it was probably this time last year we were talking about doing
yep,
this and
yep,
said, okay, from 2023, let's get something out once every 3 to 4 weeks. Then we hit summer and we got on a roll and we were basically putting something out every week, which sort of filled our quota quite quickly.
mm, mm, mm.
And towards the end of the year, like you said, other things got in the way. We had a couple of other speakers sort of lined up,
Yeah, we did.
um, but we're going to put that off until next year.
Yep.
And I mean, we can't have Christmas coming too early, as they say. So yeah, I think this is pretty good that we can wrap up that way. I mean, we got some great people on. Narushima Shihan, we got Nick on,
Yeah.
who's now,
Yeah.
Nick Shihan,
Yeah. Yeah.
with
Fantastic.
KWU. That's great. And just, with regards to that, I talked to Masuda Shihan,
Yep.
and as I shared with Pat before, he's keen to come on at some stage.
Oh, good.
With his role in the KWU now, and he's going left, right, and centre everywhere. It's probably best to wait until the new year to get a time because I think he's just come back from Argentina or something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
What was just a courtesy call ended up being a 40-minute conversation, and I mean I could do a whole episode on what he was talking about there, inspiring stuff. But he is definitely keen to come on at some stage, so we'll pop that into the new year.
Hmm.
We've got other people, some ex Matsui faction people that
Hmm.
I've reached out to. A young bloke by the name of Takahashi Sensei, who's running his own thing now, who did pretty well in the tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But on his own, what else is happening? Well, what
Yeah.
you mentioned about in a recent post, I think in April next year, there's going to be the second unified
Oh,
All
yeah.
Japan champs, where the Old Branch Chiefs Association, which has recently changed its name. Just here's a bit of news for
Go for
you.
it.
Uh, they're now using the old original name, so the Kokusai Karate Do Renmei Kyokushinkai So Honbu. So they're now using that So Honbu, so which means the general headquarters, as their official name. They've been given permission to do that by the courts. So they're not going to be referred to as the old branch chiefs association, but as an organization in itself. Still meaning that each of the factions have their own autonomy.
Yep.
And so, yeah, they're doing their second
Yeah.
unified championships in April. You're going there, I
Yeah.
believe. We're probably going to have about 3 fighters going from New Zealand, hopefully,
Awesome.
from Mock NZ there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're looking to sort of look at what the details are on being a cooperative sort of association with that, which is great because they allow that autonomy, but it'll allow more opportunity for people to come to Japan. So I'll be there. And I hear you're grading.
I
We're
have
thinking
been,
of grading.
yes, I've got the tap on the shoulder, which was fantastic and great. But
Good.
the I'm OCD, right? So I've got, when it comes to karate and training
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so forth. So I've got a couple of fighters, which is fantastic. Yeah, that'll be competing, and they've already started their prep for it. So my
good.
coaching hat was first and foremost my priority. And
Yeah,
then there is the grading, but it wasn't formalized if it was going to be an international one, until Kyoshi buzzed and said it's on.
right.
100%. We still need that the paperwork and so forth. But in regards to it being after the tournament day on the Monday potentially. So yeah, so I've got my coach's hat on. Then I've got my grading hat on, and then
Excellent.
the divisions popped up of the 40 to 47 veterans.
Yeah, so you're
And,
in.
and I'm in, 100% I'm in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the bosses gave me the tick there, Shihan, Billy, and Kyoshi. And I said, listen, what do you think? And they're like, what do you think? They said. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, what do you think? Yeah, yeah. We
so
already wrote your name down, mate. Yeah, you
yeah.
got no choice. You're in.
And you know what, Shihan, and you're a champion in regards to this talking openly about this is,
Yeah,
um, you're training hard, you're working towards a grading, you're putting everything into it. And a fighter's a fighter, right? To a
yeah.
degree. And I mean, the difference of 2016 when I fought there in the last Worlds, I
Mm.
had my baby boy just arrived. We were 2 kids in. We were, just pushing through life
Mm.
at that time. And now a lot's changed, the
Yeah,
stability of our family, and 3 kids under 10 now, and our jobs and our dojos and all these beautiful things have blessed us. And our and the mindset was just ready to take on, like the 50
you
man
go. Yeah,
last year. The everything just fell into place, and you put it out to the universe, and you just don't know, yeah. So we go in with a full steam ahead, which is part and parcel of, again, you know this summary and this brief of what's happening in 2024.
mm.
Like I tell my students, and I follow the SAS concept here, where they have a debrief on the year, and we talk
Mm.
about the year openly. And again, it is 70% karate, martial arts training, your life, but then the other part needs to be a personal side of what
Yeah,
your, again, whatever words people use, but goals or ambitions or drive
yeah.
is. And did you achieve those things this year?
Mm.
And like we're debriefing now on our show, for everyone else out there, we have to finish the year with that. Hey, how did you go? Did you go, to the boxes? I say, did you tick enough? Did you have them laid out, or are you guessing now with the way you went about it? And
Yeah,
the saying, Shian, fuck, it went fast. Well,
yeah,
why did it went so fast that you missed things, that you didn't achieve things, that you push through some things that you, and we have that luxury in karate, in Kyokushin, where we grade at the end of the year and on a senior level, where we can put a bow tie to the year that it was in training and formalities. And I put that summary up. I always do, because I don't think we we as in those that are in the thick of it day to day with dojo operating, instructing, mentoring, coaching, and all those other things, and taking care of ourselves is probably around here, 7, 8, 9, check.
Bottom somewhere in
And
it.
then you put it out there and then you go, shit, without the support of everyone else, without the support of my wife, my kids, yourself in conversations and Shihan's and Kiyoshi's. And then, look, I'm already up to 8, 9, 10 things again of how important those things are. And to listeners that, we can express ourselves. And I'm also get this platform to express myself. And that's a big thing because I can talk underwater and it helps me. It helped me create this podcast over COVID to talk to everyone, get me through things. And I could tell you hundreds of messages that came back to me during that time. People like yourself just writing, saying, hey, man, keep doing this, keep putting it out there. And we debrief 2023. And then we share a little bit more like I have there. And then we have to share what our ambitions are for 2024. Is it going to be difficult? Where can we help each other? Who's going to help me run the dojo? My senpais put their hand up. Are they going to be inundated with babies coming into their lives because they're a bit younger than me? New career jobs, new career with their work, going interstate, going overseas for personal and professional reasons. And then we also have, what the hell are we doing in the dojo? Why are you coming back? Well, you come back for me? Don't come back for me. It's all about you. Where is this going to fight into your personal growth and development? And we factor in always the kicking, the punching, kyokushin, and it's like, yeah, but when you walk in next year again, or whenever it may be, make sure your personal development is being ticked off. This is your hour and a half, 2 times a week, 3 times a week that you are giving to yourself. You are using the platform of Kyokushin Karate. You are using the tools or the teachers in a way to guide you. And there are one of the best responses that I like that was one of our students is a high professional in his field. And he says, I just get to walk in and I don't have to manage a team of 30, 40 people. I don't have to concern myself with the way this is going to be run. I don't need to, because we run it, the instructors run it.
You can switch off and just be in the moment kind of thing, right?
And I've done a full year now. We trained jiu-jitsu for a while, but then you don't do it legitimately until you do it legitimately. And that was a massive opening for me this year. 3 times a week, every week, flat out. I go Monday, Wednesday, Friday at lunchtime, and I'm in there. And it's not my dojo, Shihan. It's not my students. I don't need to open the thing. You just walk in. I do my uses because it's just what it is. And then bang, I'm out the door within 55 minutes. I train my ass off and then I get out of there. And mentally for me, I thought it was going to clear my head. It added more to my head because of the things that you do in Kyokushin. And then that you go, oh my God, it's right there. It's right there. This grab is right there. The Hikate is living right here.
Helps you explore. You get a bit more of an objective view. I think when we interviewed Sensei Sam from Shin Kyokushin, right?
Yeah.
And he's just got his blue belt.
Congrats, Sam.
It's great. But you remember what he was saying? He was saying exactly what you were saying, that it's great to be a learner again. And, but that through that, he can bring a lot back and question, or sort of not question, I'd say just explore what he's doing with his main base, which is karate, and how they complement. So that cross-training stuff, has always been really good, keeping it honest as well.
And a tip for those while we're having this yarn is I always grab Shihan Cameron Quinn's book, right? It is nestled to the side of where my reading chair is. And it's there with Book of 5 Rings and all these types of books. And I grab Shihan Cameron, and then you just do yourself a favor over the Christmas New Year break, anyone. And I'm sure 90% of listeners have got this. And if you don't have that book, get your shit together and get that goddamn book, because it is the gospel, it is the Bible for the Western side of understanding a quick grasp of it. And you open it up, and I crack into it, and I was preparing for the grading and the senior grading. And then it was just the history of Sosai. The history just popped up again, which we're all across to an extent. The senior grades are all across. And then you're like, man, the judo, the
Yeah.
Goju,
Yeah.
the Shotokan, the
Mm.
teachers he had, or
Yeah.
the references of those teachers, and the years of when that was, the 40s, the 50s.
Yeah.
And I was there going, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like in regards
Yeah.
to just that, again, all of us have that Kyokushin bias in us
Mm.
of
Oh, of course. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
creme de la creme,
Yeah.
100%. And again, the cross training concept when I came through, it was not against, Shihan Billy always was open to hearing it, but he always reinforced that keep training what we're doing, keep doing what you're doing, keep training in Kyokushin, and you'll see it come through
Yeah.
in some classes or a seminar or a workshop, and you'll advance yourself through the journey.
Yeah.
But didn't keep us, didn't give us the, I guess, the opening of the door, because he was
Mm.
like, follow this door, and then slowly when you mature with this art, other things come, other cross training
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah.
I'm a culprit of that. I'm
Yeah.
the culprit of that. I'm the first, because we went through that UFC era of watching and watching, and the youthfulness of me in the mid-20s when I got my Shodan was, hey man, let's try some MMA. Let's try some of
Yeah.
this. Listen to the word. Try some of this.
Right.
Try some of that. And she was like, go, go, go. Good. Us, go, go, go. Oh,
Yeah.
which teacher first? Yeah. And then, all right. And then those types of students, we all loved them. We all loved hearing and saying, I tried this. I tried that. We did this. And it's like, oh, so. And I was the one that powered through with Shihan with tournaments and fighting
Yeah.
and helping run the class and getting a trick or two. And then Shihan Cameron would do a seminar, and then he's got his grappling expertise in wrestling and all that. And you'd be like, whoa, and it opens your eyes again. All these things continue on, and it still cycles through
Oh, of
our
course.
day
Of
to
course.
our day to day.
And
But
that's how it should be, really. I mean, like, I teach a Japanese martial arts class here at university for some short-term international students coming through. They come through to do an intensive Japanese language and Japanese studies course with us.
mhm,
And part of that is it's a mixture of practical and theoretical
mhm,
stuff. And the practical is I introduce them to karate, Kyokushin karate, right? And we do that for about an hour, and then we spend about 40 minutes looking at
mhm,
different parts of Budo and the
mhm.
history, the development. But towards the end, what we look at is the philosophy of
Right,
the major nine modern, what they call Gendai Budo, the modern martial arts in Japan.
right.
And so I look at karate and I look at what Sosai said. And one of the things is what you're talking about now. And as we wrap up
Yes.
this year, one of his 11 mottos was,
Mm,
and I mean, I won't literally translate it, but basically talking about self-reflection as an
mhm.
opportunity to improve. Now he said it in the martial path or way,
Right, right,
in
right.
the martial arts, but it's any part of life.
Yes.
The self-reflection is so important. So, what you get out of the year creates a springboard for what you want to get out of next year. So it really connects to
Right.
goal setting. I mean, Shihan Cameron talks about the three questions he always asks his students, what went well in your training, what didn't go so well, and what are
Correct.
you going to do about what didn't go so well?
Yeah.
That set of three he always talks about is just his version of
Yes.
that, trying to teach people how to self-reflect in a
That's right.
positive way.
Yeah.
So I mean that's what you're doing. And I mean, going back to what you were saying about opportunities for next year,
Mhm.
you've got a goal now. You put in all this time, you've cross-trained. Now it's time to step up and do a grading, go into a veterans class tournament
Yep.
at the same time.
Yep.
Just on that point, because way back when in the old times there used to be international camps after tournaments here in Japan, and they go to Yugawara, a place where Sosei held his camps. And, it could be a mixture of basics, kata, etc., and so forth, and people could grade. In recent times, what I found is that it's not just a matter of showing your face there to get a grade anymore. And I've witnessed some pretty pathetic international
Sure.
gradings in
Sure.
my time where people have just done a few punches, a few kicks, and
Yeah.
then go
Right.
hit the bar. The likes of what you're about to do with the unified tournament, the post international grading, which will be run under, Hasegawa Swoshi's strict eye.
Yeah.
Um, and the likes of like Seoul Shin that recently had
Yeah.
their world tournament.
Yep.
They had a grading afterwards, and if you look at the posts and they're available
Yep.
online, people did the basics. I mean, Shin as well. When they had their international tournament this year, then they had
Yep.
a grading and a seminar afterwards. If you look at all that footage, it's not just about doing a few punches and kicks. You've got to do a full grading. And I mean, Saw Kyokushin, you had to do 60 fights to do Dokudan.
Mhm.
You know, like that, I think that's where they stop now.
Yes.
But you know, there's fights at the end of it, and they don't care how old you are, how young you are. You've got to do the full grading, and they'll happily fail your ass if you're not up to it. It's not a gift anymore. It's like, okay, let's get back to what Source I wanted us all to do, and that's to be, like you're saying, be true to yourself,
Yep.
step out of your comfort zone. So I mean, you'll turn up, you'll do the tournament. Then when you do the grading, you'll go through a
Yep.
normal grading, and at the end of it will be 40 fights. But you've been in that before. You know, you've done your 50 man recently. You've got that mental headspace in place where you know where you push yourself, you know what to expect, and that's a strength, and that's part of the self-reflection as well. I mean,
Mm.
but these gradings now are full-fledged, full-on proper gradings, which is really good. I think that's a great development to see happening back in Japan with regards to the international gradings going on. It's
Yeah.
from that gifted turn up, get a bar, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, we as in here in Melbourne slash Australia, but more Melbourne, you've raised those key organizations and those gradings, and again, reflecting on those people that have graded for whatever belt, it's awesome to see. It's
Yeah,
fantastic. It's
yeah,
it's ammunition we all, I think we all need. We don't have um, to live off social media. We don't have to be, wasting time on it, but we still need that presence. I call it a presence of, wow, that's great to see. Really good, inspiring stuff for whatever level. And of course, the biggest one was, on a social media level was, we graded old Nick, who's 67 years old. You know,
right, right.
he's a third dan in a different style he did for 20 odd years. And he defines the style like this, and you'll appreciate it. Everyone should appreciate this. He says, Pat, no, never disrespect any style. Let's fucking start right
Mm,
there. Never
yeah,
disrespect any style. But he said he gestured the style that he did for 20 odd years was kind of like a second division soccer league, and then he said Kyokushin was like the EPL, the, the
right,
the
right.
top league of
The top tier,
what was
yeah,
going
yeah,
on. And he went through that process of 20 years, and then he trained with us for the last 10. And I'm talking trained with us, 67
right,
years old. I got to manage this legend. I call him the legend because it's like he's 67, he's a grandfather. He's fighting against world tournament fighters, Australian champions in the dojo, like it's no tomorrow.
yeah,
And we went through the there is no age barrier, and I've gone through that with my dojo, of more older students over 45 plus have graded for their shodan, um, less than those that are under 30, you know
right,
more 45. So how do we test them? And I said, and I'm summarizing something here. I said, how do I test, something of this magnitude? Because we're so used to the test of, oh, you're a shodan and you're in your mid 20s, early 30s, and you
yeah,
peak, you're strong. And it's that definition of Kyokushin where it's like, well, have a look at he or she, strong,
mm,
mid 20s, late 20s, early 30s. Well, that's changed. That's changed. That's changed in our world, in this environment a lot,
mm,
because these gentlemen and ladies that have graded for Shodan and above are no longer fighting machines, or have never even been under that umbrella of champion, state title, Vic title,
mm,
this title, that. No, they've never been there. So I said, how am I going to challenge or put something in place that defines something equivalent or close to? And that's when we created years ago the 50 rounds. I was
mm,
prepping up for it. But I said each month we will be doing 50 rounds kumite, 1 minute round at 80%, slightly 85 to 90%, nothing above 90 ever. You goes over 90, I flick a switch and then I enter whoever's bashing or crashing into the next tournament. You want to compete like this? Then we go.
Yeah.
So I use that as my ammo. But my point is, we built that up. Old Nick and Senpai Liam now, who is high in his profession, they did those 50 rounds throughout this whole year as their
Awesome.
aim, as their goal. The week, the month leading into their grading, we did 50 rounds at our dojo on a Wednesday night, about 15 of us, and we go full good hour, nice, good, challenging sparring. And we wear shin pads gloves. Within that was a Wednesday night. We went to Kyoshi's camp on the Sunday. I knew that Kyoshi was giving me the 50 rounds to do in Sydney at his camp. He goes, I want you to run what you're running here at the camp. Beautiful. So I had aimed to do 100 rounds in less than a week for those two gentlemen or whoever else was going to come to the camp. Within that, they obviously did oh my God. And don't forget, he's 67 years old.
Yeah.
The other lady's
Not a spring chicken, yeah.
And my other lady's 47. I'm 42, turning 43, and so on. Senpai Michelle is 49, 50. She's a gun as well. So we get through that, and then we've gone into November, which we did the 50 rounds here in the Surf Coast in Bankura in a beautiful Japanese garden.
Yeah, I saw that. Looked beautiful.
Airbnb from Senpai David, Shihan Wayne Murphy student. So we're up to 150 rounds. And Shihan Morasi from Shin-Kyokushin, who came fourth in the Shin-Kyokushin World Tournament, is a resident here in Melbourne. He's been living in Australia for a long, long time. He was there training and sparring with us. Legend. So we've done 150. And then on the grading day, December, something like 2 weeks ago, they had to do 40 good solid rounds. Coincidentally, Shihan, the guests that I asked my students, my kohai, my senpais to come, there was 11 black belts. Plus Nathan Phillips came as a Zen Kyokushin, who's the Australian heavyweight champion currently, and he's 6'4". Those two gentlemen fought all black belts, and we got to the 40, and they did a really good solid, like again, fitness, mental, 5-hour grading. Then I said, you have 10 more if you wish. If you wish to get to 50, it's 50 by 1 minute. So it's not a 50-man kumite, but it's 50 rounds. And they went ahead with it, and they did it. They did 200 rounds over the month. And the 50 that we do at the grading, the 40 is full contact, no shin pads, gloves for these gentlemen. Yes, I've got to be very careful. What a summary, I guess, or what a definition of what a year can do in readiness for those that do not compete and the listeners out there that need some other form of motivation to an extent for what's to do next year or what to, they're there. You just got to try and work with your coach, work with your
Seize the opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's out there, and it's a matter of stepping out your comfort zone. And if you've got a great support system in place, your senseis, your shihans that are willing to push you, then those opportunities are there for you to grab. So, I was back in New Zealand at the end of November for the end of year senior gradings there. And, it was just, I was, I don't want to say impressed because it sounds like I'm judging. I was inspired by the level of technique, determination, pure grit, and just all out ability of everyone. They had one person, Sensei Calvin, was grading to Yondan. We've got a Japanese girl in Dunedin who's been studying there for the last 5 or 6 years, Kana. She graded to Nidan. And then another guy, one of Calvin's students, was grading to Shodan. And each of them in their own were just awesome. And in New Zealand, we have different criteria for each of the Udansha gradings, right? So poor old Sensei Calvin, for Yondan, he had to start off by doing 500 Chudanski and 500 Maigiri. That was just the warm-up. For Kana, who did the Nidan, she had to go through all the basics but double techniques non-stop. So one just flowed into the other. That was the sort of Kihon warm-up before they got into the specific syllabus or criteria for each of the 7 portions of the grading. So, each grading isn't just, we're going to It's just like Shodan will do Kihon, will do Idogeko, will do, Rennaku, will do all the Yakusoku Kumite. No, each one has its own different challenge.
Yep. Yep.
And then
Yep.
there's, the prescribed fights at the end of it. And what I tried to do, because I'm sort of on the technical committee
Yep.
there now, so I'm sitting at the front, is I thought, okay, well, what can I bring to this new
Right.
role? So I started to take notes on the people grading. And this is one thing that I reflected upon myself, and I thought, well, hold on. It's such a busy day, a grading day, but there's 3 or 4 of us at the table. And me being the core high of that table, I thought, okay, so what can I contribute? So I started taking notes on what I noticed from each of them, just feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that positive first approach, like what were they doing really well? Okay, and what's their next goal? And this is what we're talking about, is like Shodan is like an apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
You finished your apprenticeship. Now
Perfect.
you're going to polish that trade, and then you'll add to it over time. And that's where, it's an old cliche, but the journey begins at black belt,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, okay, how can I sort of add a couple of options to their journey? So at the end of it, I made a point of talking to them informally afterwards, and first starting off by recognizing what they did really well, and then said, okay, if you want a point of reference, here are a couple of things that you can work on just for yourself. And I'm taking that back to what you're talking about,
Yep.
making it personal.
Yep.
And it wasn't connected to your next grade,
Sure.
but it's about, okay, now what's a goal or two that I think you could sort of,
Yeah. Valuable.
use for yourself. And that's what I was trying to do there. And I think that's really important as well, so that people get a sort of an objective view of, because you don't really hear about it. You're just so happy to finish the bloody thing, you know, and get some ice on the shins and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think it's really important to give that feedback, and that's something I want to do more moving forward. So,
Good.
but I mean, for you, yeah, it's great to hear that you're doing that grading in April. So I might have to come on the floor, give you a bit of a tickle.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
fantastic.
but I mean, that's a goal for you. Now, that's a personal journey for you. And it's something that it's an avenue for you to polish what you already have, a very strong base, but really focus on, okay, how can I be the best of me on
Right.
the day?
Mm.
And that's the end product. You know, when you're asked to do a grading, you're already worthy of that grade in my eyes. The reason you're being asked is that people strongly think you can achieve that grade.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of showing why you're worthy of that
That's right.
grade. And in that way, it's, but Shihan Graham in New Zealand says, and he says it really well. He says that we know you're at that level. The grading, from the grading panel's point of view, is an opportunity to strip that all back and absolutely take out all of your strong points and see what pure grit and determination and absolute just survival spirit you have. So that's why it's such a long grading, is that you're really pushed to your limits. We want to see what's underneath.
Yeah.
We can see on the surface what your ability is, but because we push you to that absolute limit,
Yeah.
at the end of it, it's that osano, right? It's that spirit of perseverance, picking yourself up. So everything's stripped away from you. You've got no more gas in the tank, and all you've got left is that spirit. And
Gotcha.
then
Yeah.
are you willing to get up one more time, to
Yeah.
put out one more punch, one more kick?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, and that's what a grading is. It
Yep.
should be, an exhibition of that pure grit and determination. So I mean, there's a bit of pressure for you. No pressure, but
What do you want me to
um,
what do you want me to do now? Just go back to work? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you can sit in the corner and just hug yourself for a little while, and then get on with it, and then just man up, as they say. But
Mm.
I mean, before we end, because I know we've only got a little bit of
Let's-
time today,
Yep.
some sad news in Japan.
Mm.
Shihan Hamai recently passed away. For those that don't know him, he was one of the old branch chiefs.
Mm.
He is part of the old branch chiefs association. was very big in Ishikawa Prefecture, which is on the west coast of the
Okay.
main island, Honshu.
Right.
Had produced some wonderful fighters over the years. Yui Shihan came back to Kyokushin through Hamai Shihan.
Okay.
Hamai Shihan was very outspoken. Um, he stuck with Matsui for a long time, but then,
Sure.
decided to step away.
Yep.
And he featured regularly on a YouTube channel that's run by a professional wrestler here in Japan called Miyamoto Kazushi. But he interviews a lot of different martial artists. But he had this regular, like we're doing, he had
Yeah.
this regular thing with Hamai Shihan. And Hamai Shihan would share his thoughts on the Kyokushin world and the philosophies
Gotcha.
and what have you. But unfortunately, he fell ill and was hospitalized and passed away,
Mm.
which leaves a huge gap because what he was trying to do was create something called Kyokushin Goshindo.
Mm-hmm.
Goshin is self-defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like it wasn't an offshoot, but it was an added part to the Kyokushin syllabus. And what he'd done is he developed these
Oh
gloves.
yeah, I saw that. I saw
You
that.
see, with the
Yeah.
forearm pads, it was all one sort of piece.
Yeah.
And he was trying to create a tournament style
Yeah.
separate to Kyokushin, where you could have head punches. And the gloves were big enough that it wasn't bare knuckles, so you weren't gonna sort of damage your hands or,
Yeah.
leave massive injuries on people. But he was also bringing back the kingeri
Mm.
as well. So he was quite out there. He was like, okay, let's allow kingeris as a legitimate
Yes.
technique. Let's allow head punches. And that was his baby to try and nurture. So, unfortunately, I mean, it is sad that because he did contribute to the Kyokushin world in Japan for many years and for a long time, may he rest in peace. But hopefully his torch will be carried on. He has a daughter, Mika Hamai, who is Godan. She will continue to, a beautiful technician. If you just put Mika, Mika, Hamai in YouTube, you'll be able to see a lot of different videos of hers. Beautiful technician. She'll continue on running his faction. And Yui Shihan obviously will continue to pass on what he's been able to take from Hamai Shihan's sort of teachings as well. But I just thought I'd make a quick mention of that.
Great job.
But anyway, yeah, lots happening in Japan. Yes, we've got that tournament in April and you're grading as well. But again, what we're going to try and do next year, spread it out a bit more evenly, have that 3 to 4 week without going mental in the middle of
Yeah.
summer, having something every week.
Yeah.
Give it enough so that people can digest.
Yep.
Want to get on some people, not just in Japan, but people with that connection, not just Japanese, I should say,
Also,
but other people within Japan doing different things related to Kyokushin or to Budo in general.
yeah.
Also, like you said, you mentioned Shihan Cameron before. I think it would be great to get him on at some
Yeah,
stage so him and I can compare our Japanese experience
absolutely.
because he's the old school, and that would be great to tap into. Also, just putting it out there, Shihan Judd, doing great things with his Chikara Kyokushin
Mhm.
dojo and that, producing some awesome, awesome students by the looks of it. It would
Yep.
be great to sort of do a bit of a deep dive with
He's got,
him or a
yeah,
catch up.
he's got an event in April. He's got
Right.
an event Australia, Japan. So yeah.
If we can get people like that on as well to share their Japanese experiences, so, hopefully it will give us a well-balanced, objective view of what's going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, plenty to look forward to. Also, for the listeners, for the people that support this podcast, is there something and I say this every time, but is
Yeah.
there something you'd like us to look into?
Yeah.
Put that in the comments. Say, I'd really like you guys to sort of focus on this topic, or can you get us some information on what's happening here? You know, we don't, like we've always said, we're not political, but if it's something that's Kyokushin content based and you want us to do a bit of research or talk about what we've experienced,
Yeah.
your ideas are as important as ours. So, in the comments, please write down any sort of Christmas wish list you might have
Good
for
idea.
this podcast for next year. And we look forward to
Yep.
delivering some content in the new year.
Awesome, Shihan.
Awesome.
Great summary. Good chat. And again, for everyone out there, look how easy that is. That's 40 minutes. It's just due to us having to go back to work and do things.
Yep.
Shihan, thanks for the year. Great job.
Awesome.
Much appreciated. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Yeah, you
And
too.
a big
To
Merry
yours.
Christmas to all the listeners. And thanks we reached over that 1,000 number. Again,
Yeah.
little things we take for granted. I hope some of it connected with you in some way there with just, the way the year was and how your year is looking in 2024. A big us to you all. Thanks, Sean, and keep
Awesome.
hard. Big us. Also, everyone, Merry Christmas.
Awesome.